NYVR guests, please grab a seat. Please grab a seat. All right, grab a seat and we will get started. All right, and the broadcast has started, and Jimmy says, tell Michael I said hello. Okay, welcome to NYVR. Thank you very much for coming. Can I get a round of applause for VR technology? All right, we're going to have, I am having some trouble with this mic, hold on. We're going to switch. All right, hold on. Hello, hello, hello?
Yeah.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, we got some housekeeping stuff to go through, and then we will jump right into the presentations. Thank you for showing up. Great to see all of familiar faces and a handful of new faces. So with that, I am DJ Smith. I am the NYVR organizer and the CCO at Glimpse Group. Thank you for coming, and you can hit up my LinkedIn with that QR code. A couple of housekeeping stuff. So for the new folks, NYVR's mission statement is simply to grow the XR community in New York City. We've been doing this since 2014, and it's really a passion project of mine, and I'm thrilled to be back at in-person events since COVID and everything, and it's great to see you.
What is the 10-year? We should do a celebration.
I'm actually going to talk about that.
Oh.
I have a little surprise coming.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me, I will get into it. So first off, thanks to our sponsor, the Glimpse Group, who provides this space to the NYVR community. So thank you to Glimpse. Also thank you to our volunteers. Jake and Jordan are not here, but Gene and Anthony are here. Anthony's in the back, and Gene is right there. And everyone else that shoots me over emails and encouragements. There's a lot of other volunteers not listed here. For the new folks, NYVR does something called the collaboration group. The collaboration group is a system where people that are interested in getting into the industry and making connections with folks that want to create also, I basically team them up. So if anybody is a developer or an artist or just wants to try and get into the space and build something, come to me after the event. I basically take down your information, and then I pair people up based on complementary skill sets. We've been doing this for a long time, and a lot of the teams have kind of gone on to form companies and lifelong friendships, and it's really, really great. So I encourage you guys, anyone who needs to take a first step, it has worked for many people in the past. Also, always looking for future presenters in the preferably VR space, but I do go outside to the XR space and beyond. We try and stay a little bit more focused on the VR side of things, although I am really passionate about MR in addition. So I would say more wearable, I guess, is probably a better way to define it. So if you get word of a startup that's new in the space or anyone that's doing something cool, definitely send them my way. A couple of shout outs. Ben, our friend Ben, and the wonderful team behind the Polys is coming up soon. It's on March 3rd. If you're not aware of it, definitely check it out. It's a fantastic event. I think they're at 4th year, so happy to share that that's going on. Jenny is in the house right here, so you may want to just take a picture of this slide because there's a lot of information on it. But there's basically an event coming up with Harvard, and Jenny's going to be standing up here at the end. So if you have any questions about it, she'll be able to answer questions for it. So take some pictures. All right. Cool. Also, our friends over at the XR Guild, they hold wonderful events also. Their next event is coming up January 31st. I don't think they have anyone here except for Jean. Okay, cool. So we have some XR Guild folks in the house. Great. So if you guys want to actually stand up, if somebody has questions for you guys, hit them up after the event.
Come on 31st, Brooklyn NYVR.
At the Brooklyn NYVR, thank you. Dave Lobster is in the house. He's showing some super cool stuff. We kind of threw him into the mix last minute, and all of the cool visuals that were on the screen was compliments of his program. And they have an AI training boot camp that's coming up, so definitely hit him up. It's the QR code goes to their website. And David's around afterwards to answer any questions on that also. Okay. On the NYVR side of things, so we annually do an event called Art in VR. It's one of my favorites, to tell you the truth. We typically do it in February. However, this year we're going to actually push it and do it in April, coinciding with the NFT NYC event that goes through the city. For that event, it's kind of a specialty event. We're not going to do presentations. We're just going to have cool XR artists at each of the tables. So if you are an XR artist or you know of an XR artist, send them my way. More the merrier as far as I'm concerned. We just want to have a lot of cool content for that evening and have people come in and just see cool art. And then for our upcoming March, at this point we're still doing every other month, but we have an amazing lineup of folks for it. So Garage Stories, Geometrics, Ink and Paint, Verdi, and Will's VR Diamond League. So that's a stacked agenda. And then our following event will be in May, back to normal programming. Okay, so this is our lineup. However, we have a curveball. Our friend Videsh, who was going to speak second, got COVID, so he's on the road to recovery, but he is not able to present tonight. So I am filling in. So at the end of last event, actually somebody said, I was hoping DJ would, present like what you do. And I've been really organizing this for about 10 years, and I've never really shared that. So we're gonna have story time first with DJ, and then we'll get into our normal presentations. We're gonna end the show with Larry, but Larry has some copyrighted material, so sorry for everyone at home on the stream. We're gonna have to end short for that. So that is what.
Get him to come to the next.
That's right. You have to come to the show in person to see super cool, top secret stuff. Okay, so now we enter into DJ story time. What I really want to do is kind of go through where my journey has been over the last 10 years. It's funny, a couple of other original gangsters of the industry have been posting on LinkedIn about the fact that they've been in the space for 10 years, and I just thought it was kind of fitting. So back in 2013, there was a moment in time, picture me sitting on my couch watching YouTube, as I usually do, and I ran across this video. And this video was really a turning point in my life, and it always brings me chuckles, so it's about a minute long. And when I saw this, I immediately foresaw the next 10 years exactly how it played out.
Go. Perfect. So, now what I want you to do is start. I want you to look up, look down.
It's 3D.
It's all stereo 3D. Look left, look right. Now actually physically turn your body and look behind you. So you can see that you are getting full 360 head tracking.
Okay, this is a little odd. I'm not disoriented though.
Good.
But this is astounding.
What are your initial thoughts?
I can definitely see that as I pivot my head around, it's moving. But like when I duck my head around the corner,
Right.
It's not there yet, but I assume that's just a part of the API that will evolve.
Yes, so right now we're tracking orientation, but we're not tracking position.
Okay.
So, big movements side to side, leaning forward. If you crouched on the ground, nothing would happen.
Yeah, So as I move around, that's the only thing that I would
Right.
say is a little weird. But otherwise, I'm not gonna say like I'm in the video game, but this is about as close as I've ever had to being inside a video game.
Well done.
So that changed my life. Really, after that, I just dove deep as far as I could into the tech. And shortly after that, NYVR was born. So in February 6, 2014, my co-founder of NYVR, his name is Eric Greenbaum, he was actually the one that signed on the dotted line to form the meetup. I saw that it was posted. I'm sitting in Morristown. I'm like, am I really going to go into the city to see this? And it was like, after 30 seconds, I was like, absolutely, I can't get this out of my freaking head. So I met with a couple of strange people like myself who were infatuated with the tech. The guy with the big smile, his name's James Andrew, still a good friend with him. He was the one who had the first DK1 and brought the laptop and was showing some of the stuff he was building. That was the first time I actually had tried a DK1. I didn't have a computer yet, so I was building a computer and saving money, and my first setup was actually a DK2 shortly after this. Flash forward 2016, we were holding large events in Microsoft. I know a lot of people here might have actually been at this event. But this is actually where I met my partners at Glimpse. So it's a funny story. I was basically at the front desk, and one of our co-founders showed up unannounced. He wasn't on the list, and fortunately, I let him in. If I didn't let him in, we probably would have had a very different future. So actually, good note, if you're ever not on the list and you show up at the door, I'm probably going to let you in. But shortly after this, had lunch with Laurent and my other co-founders. They were just as excited about the space as I was. And this is me actually on Madison Avenue in their conference room. I had a big luggage with my gaming rig and the CV1. And this was the first time I really showed them what VR could do. And shortly thereafter, Glimpse was born. This was the first day on the job, walking into a high-rise. And I'm a New Jersey suburbanite guy, so coming into the city was definitely a different experience for me. And some of the faces you see in our 360 definitely are still hanging around. And we'll keep on going. 2017, the crew is continuing to grow. Again, some familiar faces in here. 2017, NYVR is definitely growing. Held a couple of events at Javits, which was amazing in 2017 and 2018. Glimpse got a new office in 2018. Again, lots of friendly faces here. And more friendly faces here. And then COVID hit, and the world went to video calls, unfortunately. And then in 21, we rode a big wave, and were able to take Glimpse public. Amazing. And then NYVR finally got back to in-person events back in January of 23, and we're inching our way back to get back to where we were before. And it's really great to see common faces from back then, but also a whole new round of new faces who were just as excited about the space as we are now. So what does the future look like? I'm pretty excited about this one. Who knows? Maybe we eventually go beyond the displays and Mr. Elon just hardwires us in, and then there's the dreaded AI, which hopefully that doesn't happen. I think for me, I'm perpetually an optimist, and I have something that's called my 100% rule. When I find things that I know are 100% true, I kind of latch on to them. And this was one of the reasons I had the courage to leave my former profession after 20 years, which was construction. And it was really clear that immersive medium, three-dimensional digital content has more value in certain use cases than two-dimensional screens. That is 100% truth. And I'm just excited to see the use cases evolve, see the hardware evolve, and I'm excited for what comes next. I'm going to continue to organize NYVR. I want to see Glimpse continue to succeed and grow. And one of the passion projects I have is to use this technology to help kids, specifically sick kids. And in 24, that's definitely a big push for me. So I'm excited to do that. So that's it. We have a super cool system now. I started the last event. So if you have any questions for each of the speakers, I'm going to show this. You QR code that, and you can punch in any questions. And at the very end of the presentations, I'm going to bring everyone up, and we'll run through the questions. So this QR code will pop up at the end of each other presentation. So you feel free to ask away. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Mark from Transfr.
Thank you, DJ. Very cool to hear about the origin story.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Mark Steelman. I am an engineer. I've been in the AR/VR space for about 7 years now. I think I went to my first NYVR meetup in, I want to say 2018, maybe 2019. A little bit of a gap with COVID, but really glad to be back here. It's cool to be able to finally present at NYVR.
Didn't you win the Beat Saber competition?
And I did win the Beat Saber competition.
Come on, you gotta lay that out there.
2020?
That was the SAP one, right?
Yeah, it was fun. I do.
That was intense.
Cool. But I'm here to talk about Transfr. So, Transfr is a company that is focused on the future of career pathways. So I've been doing AR/VR experimentation. I'm a Unity engineer primarily, but I kind of did my hands and feet in different parts of the industry. And this is me wearing the haptics gloves, which is a pretty crazy thing that I got to try at AWE. If anyone ever gets to try it, it's definitely just some nice little stuff. Essentially, Transfr is really focused on using VR to help people get jobs. That's, simply put, what the company is all about. Our products currently are VR products, but at the end of the day, that is what we're focused on. We think of ourselves as a company focused on helping people get jobs, not necessarily a VR company. We used to be called Transfr VR. We mixed that for that reason. So I don't know if this will work.
I think if you select it, should go.
Oh, maybe. All right, let's see if we have audio. I'm doing this just because our marketing team is amazing and has put together this awesome video, and I think it just helps to see some visual reference for what we do, and then I'll get into some of the details. So let's see if this video plays.
Welcome to Transfr. Transfr brings the future of training to your organization with situations where they gain valuable experience and can make mistakes in a safe environment.
Yeah.
During instruction, our digital coach gives learners real-time feedback to help them develop skills and confidence.
That's right. That was a good attempt.
Learners demonstrate their mastery of basic skills through hands-on practice,
Thanks.
building a comprehensive foundation of the knowledge they'll need on the job. Transfr's curriculum is developed with industry experts to create authentic experiences that introduce learners to safe working procedures and the tools they'll use to prepare them for real-world jobs.
All right. Now we're going to use this winch to haul up the
At
train.
Transfr, our trainer Simon contains the working knowledge from real human experts.
Welcome to the fuel station. While larger aircraft.
Training progress data is tracked along every step of their training journey and is available for instructor review. When a trainee masters a simulation, they're ready to demonstrate those skills with an instructor on the job in the real world. Transfr enriches traditional training programs, allowing trainees to learn wherever it makes sense, without expensive industry equipment or facilities. Transfr's hands-on simulations combined with traditional training are a powerful combination to help learners along their pathway to prosperity and into well-paying jobs that are the future of every industry.
All right, thank you to our marketing. Nice. Okay. Cool. So you saw a little bit about kind of what our product looks like, but I'm going to get into some of just how it actually works. So we have two products. The first product that we created is called Virtual Training Facility. So these are all longer form, anywhere from like 15 to 30 or 40 minutes experiences where it's focused on learning skills that you're going to need to be successful at a particular job. And we group up these 15 to 40 minute experiences in what we call modules, which you can think about it like a unit in a school curriculum. So we don't want people in a headset for hours and hours, but it takes a lot of time to learn all these skills for jobs. So we group up these modules, and then within each module there's different simulations. And then our second, more recent product is called Career Exploration Facility. So this is more targeted at folks who aren't yet sure what job they want, and they want to just essentially get exposure to different careers out there. And so, these are kind of shorter form, approximately 5-minute long experiences. You can almost think of that product as like a VR career fair. And so again, like the virtual training facility, we call it VTF, is really just about getting the skills so that you can actually get hired to a well-paying job. And then career exploration facility is really just understanding your options and helping you choose a career path. And so the benefits of both of the products is it is very personalized in the sense that we do collect data about each individual's progress, and we have kind of lots of different reminders and the coach that really just makes you feel like you have someone guiding you through, as opposed to kind of a video game where it's a little bit of like figure it out, good luck. So we try to really orient ourselves toward folks that want help and maybe first time VR users. And so, yeah, we really focus on accurate content. We work with subject matter experts to make sure that, our content is reflecting real world, industry best practices. We really also just focus on that, being user friendly and really like, when you leave the headset, we want to make sure that people are actually making measurable progress towards getting a job. So our current customers are primarily 2-year colleges, K-12, workforce development programs, nonprofits like, for example, Boys and Girls Club around the country, and also companies with training programs such as a construction company with an apprenticeship program that is trying to get more construction workers in their company. And oftentimes it's especially for the virtual training product, we're targeting folks that aren't, coming out of, that don't have 4-year degrees. So these are folks in trade schools or community colleges. And so what makes us different from competitors is that, well, I guess this isn't completely unique, but, there are a lot of different VR training products out there in the world, but not all of them are, 6 degrees of freedom, interactive experiences. And so all of ours are, we have a really high emphasis on like before and after headset. So we really make sure that, schools that are using this, like have a plan for how they are going to actually like get their students in, charge their headsets, get access to Wi-Fi, and then make sure that, they're tracking, which students like which jobs, who did well, and actually seeing if they, are getting a job. Like the way we measure success in the company is how many people got jobs. And so we offer career exploration and training. And then, we have the dashboard, which is essentially making it really easy for schools and administrators to actually track, prove that as they're buying this product, right, like they can prove that this is worth the school budget, right? Because everyone knows that, schools are very strapped for money almost always, right? And you need to make sure that, school budgets are used wisely. And the other thing, which I'll talk more about, is, that differentiates us is the scale of our production. So this is kind of a little bit about, our actual company. So in terms of our growth, we've been really fortunate in the last few years to have a lot of success. We recently announced our $40 million Series C in September. We now are over 250 employees. We have over 300 simulations, mostly 50, 30, sometimes 40 minutes in length. And we have over 1,100 customers in nearly every state. I think the actual number is like 47 or something. And then the really exciting thing is we just recently, last month, announced the Transfr SDK closed beta, which I will talk about in a moment. So I'm going to play this video while I actually tell you about the SDK. And this is just to give you a sense of the quality of content that is being created with our SDK. And so I might put the wrong link in here. Let me see if I can find this real quick. There should be a video in here somewhere. Maybe. Oh, here it is. Scroll right past it. I'm going to turn off the audio so that you guys can hear me talk. These are some of our career exploration experiences, which we released. So we released our career exploration product this past summer. We have 12 career exploration simulations, and all of this was built with the Transfr SDK. So the SDK is a no-code Unity SDK that is essentially trying to make it easier to create this educational content. We have a ton of demand from our customers. They keep saying we want more content, but once we started getting to 300, it was very hard to continue to scale at that rate. So we basically built out this tool set so that we essentially can lower the barrier to entry for building, educational content in VR, and now we are essentially at the point where we've built all of our stuff mostly in-house and working with certain partners, but there are so many jobs and careers out there and simulations to build. We cannot possibly build all of them ourselves, and so what we're trying to do is open the doors to have other folks come in, learn our SDK, work with us, and get paid to create VR content to help people get jobs. So that's basically the gist of the SDK, or why we're doing it. So I will get back to the slides, and you can see all that content on our website, and if the deck is shared there, it's, how am I doing?
You're okay. A few more minutes.
Cool. Basically, this is something that if any of you are interested in learning more about the SDK, you can scan that QR code and you can get a link to our essentially interest sign-up form. It's just very simple. We just want to know who might be interested in working with us to help build all of these we to help people get jobs. Again, it's a no-code Unity SDK, so we kind of in order to be successful, at least right now, we expect some level of Unity experience, but you do not need to be a C# engineer by any means. Just being familiar with kind of the Unity scene editor and kind of working with different 3D assets is the primary skill set that we're looking for. And over time, we hope to continue to reduce barriers and provide more options so that in the long term, we would love it so that any school and sort of subject matter expert or someone who just knows they want to build a curriculum has the tools that to be able to build that curriculum. So if any of you are interested in being part of our closed beta or even just learning more about the SDK as we roll out more information, sign up for the interest form. And then I guess this is also kind of our blog post, which just was essentially the actual announcement. And if you kind of want to learn more than what I've talked about tonight, feel free to check that out. And again, you can check out the links if the deck is provided afterwards, or reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to me. These are my social things. Although I know I am supposed to point you to this, which allows you to ask me questions for the end, correct?
That's right.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mark. Great to see what Transfer's up to. Amazing. All right, next we got Carol Silverman. Come on up, and in the meantime, scan the QR code and ask some questions, and we'll circle back with Mark afterwards.
Hi.
You don't have to hold it.
DJ, am I good?
Yeah.
Thank you for the origin story. I always wondered about that. So that was really good to find out.
Awesome. Just arrow key. You can just hit up there.
Okay. All right. So I'm here to talk about my room scale 6-stop VR experience called Belongings. Where I got the idea for it and why I chose to tell this story in VR. So my mother was a Holocaust survivor, and I didn't find that out until many years after she died. When my brother and I went through her things after she died, we found a box of documents and photos. There were 19th century family portraits. There was her grandmother's Jewish identity card from 1939. And there were letters between her uncle and the Thomas Cook Shipping Company about tickets on a transatlantic ship for my mother and grandmother from a place called Gores, among many other things. It was a treasure chest mystery. Within a day, my mother had transformed from the person I thought I knew best in the world to a total enigma. So with some research, I discovered that in 1940, 2 of Hitler's lieutenants were tasked with clearing all the Jews from the Baden region of southwest Germany, which is where she lived. On October 22nd of 1940, which was the holiday of Sukkot, 6,504 people were given a short time to pack 1 suitcase and 100 bike smarts each. They were completely surprised by this. They had no idea it was coming. They were put on trains and sent to an internment camp in France called Gores. It was really cold. There was very little food. Her grandmother died there. Her uncle, who had somehow, sorry, so I don't forget. Somehow made it to New York, along with her aunt in 1938, was able to get them on a boat out of Gores to Cuba and then to the U.S. How did this miraculous series of events happen? I don't know if I'll ever be able to answer that. This is an actual postcard sent by my grandmother from the camp to her brother in New York, in which she tells him that their mother, who they call Muti, has died. because of the censorship, she could only refer to this event obliquely. Dear Robert, I guess I forgot to tell you that I have got money from you already 4 weeks ago. It is making life here much easier when we have some money. Ellen and I are well, only I do not feel much desire to do anything. Our rooms are too dark to write in. Our lives pass every day the same here. It is very cold, and I hope you soon get your package with warm clothes. Muti is the most comfortable. When I see her old friends with whom she was always together, I am thankful she is freed from all this sorrow. I think our postcards will reach you more quickly. Our Julius Hirsch is now attending to Muti. Kind regards, Trudy and Ellen. For a long time, I didn't know what to do with this discovery. It felt almost disloyal to her to even think about it, counterintuitive as that may seem. A few years ago, I started to feel consumed by this story. I wanted to be out in the world with all of the other voices, bearing witness to genocide, war, and displacement. Was it my story to tell? It didn't happen to me. I didn't even hear it directly from the person it did happen to, who obviously had no interest in revealing it to anyone. Even when I learned about the Holocaust in school and asked her if anything had happened to her, knowing that she was born in Germany, but nothing else, she said, nothing happened, no more discussion. I couldn't even ask my dad if he knew anything because he was gone too. All I had was a mystery box. What was the story that I could tell? And what was the best way to tell it? There are many books and films about the Holocaust, as you all know, about its perpetrators and its victims, running the gamut from memoir to documentary to historical fiction to graphic novel. I thought about using one of these mediums, but they did not feel right to me. I'm a person who responds to a story in terms of the objects that tell it. I've worked as a set decorator for film and television for many years. That's essentially what the job is. Telling the story of the show using carefully chosen objects. For example, this is a photo of Cortlandt Alley in Chinatown. Countless things have shot there. This is a photo of Cortlandt Alley dressed as a street on the Lower East Side in 1920 for the HBO series Boardwalk Empire, which I decorated for 5 seasons. At the other end of the spectrum, this is a set for an SNL VR game parody, which all of this and more was put together in one day. But the same concept applies. Find the objects to tell the story. I could show you hundreds of photos of sets, but you get the idea. Every item that you see in every piece of filmed media that you consume has had a minimum of one decision made about it that brought it to that screen. Often, many, many decisions have been made about it. It's the same for the objects that surround you in your life. You've made decisions about them. They have a place in your story. So, where does virtual reality fit into this puzzle? I first experienced VR in 2015 when it became more generally accessible at film festivals and events, even at this very meetup. And it was something that I immediately felt an affinity with. I saw a lot of work. I wanted to make something myself. And by coincidence, I found out about an MFA program in visual narrative at SVA that would allow me to make my thesis in any medium that I chose. Through this convoluted path, I found my way into the story of my mother's untold journey. Belongings is not a documentary. It's my reimagining of her life story from her point of view as a way to come to terms with it for myself. It's a way to have a conversation with her that I wish I could have had, and to hear her tell it firsthand. So my touchstones throughout the process of creating this experience are giving the user a sense of presence within a space. They should feel that they're in a real space that was made for this story. Giving the user a sense of agency, that the story would not happen without the actions that they take in game. Including as much interactivity as possible and giving the user utmost freedom within that. Every object and belongings can be picked up. Establishing a framework based in reality, the user is free to choose their interactions, but they cannot stop time. The chapters advance on a timeline, and there's nothing the user can do to influence that, just like life. I kept these concepts in mind throughout the development process so that I was confident that this was a story that could only be told in VR, which is a question that I ask of every piece that I see. I designed belongings to be easy for new users. Interactions use the controller trigger only. The locomotion is by actually walking around the play space. This mechanic grounds the viewer and makes the virtual space feel more real to them. The title, Belongings, references the different meanings of the word. The story is told by my mother's things. Her estate, what she left behind in the world, which now belongs to me. She thought she belonged to the society in which she was born. After she was expelled by that society, I believe she never felt like she belonged anywhere again. I imagine a continuum of the relationship between feeling part of something larger and the choices she made about what things she kept, echoing through time. The aesthetic of belongings is simple and spare. The focus is on the narrative. I chose to represent Ellen's belongings using photographs on cubes rather than 3D models. Each object is more than that thing. It's that thing at that time as it belongs to this person and what it means to them, as well as what it means to the person who comes in now, and everything that's happened to it over the course of its existence. There are 6 chapters representing time periods in Ellen's life. The user picks up the photos and objects to trigger a voiceover that tells part of Ellen's story. Following from this idea, there is no intended order to the objects. The viewer meets Ellen, as you often meet a new person, learning little bits of information about them at a time until you gain an understanding of who they are. The timeline progresses by way of a magic transition, in which the scene transforms behind the viewer as they look around the space. The intention is that the transition happens seamlessly while they're looking the other way. The space is bounded by 6 shelving units arranged in a hexagon, which is a metaphorical representation of Ellen's mind. They can look out at the world, but only see it at a distance, through her eyes. This. Oops. Oh my goodness. This is the LBE installation that I have in mind if that ever becomes an option. Real shelves with movable boxes that map to the virtual boxes. I'll never know why my mother chose to keep her past a secret. In retrospect, I can see that what happened to her cast a long shadow over the rest of her life. This is advice she gave me a long time ago. Don't stand out. Don't attract attention. Don't tell anyone that you're Jewish. Time is passing. Look around.
we got top secret stuff coming from Larry.
No, we don't want Larry to get in any trouble.
All right, so my apologies to everyone online. Larry, come